from them, because that's the essence of neoliberal capitalism, of the competitive spirit of which we hear so much. It is the ruthlessness of the jungle. Civilization, humanity deserves something better than that, and that's what James Connolly told us about. Connolly's spirit, Connolly's personality, the great James Connolly, he taught us so much. He taught us the need to have a vision that rises above the mundane. Connolly had seen it. He had seen it where he was born in Edinburgh. He had seen the poverty that existed in this city in Dublin, where this city, when Connolly experienced the poverty in Dublin over 100 years ago, it almost broke his own heart, the mighty heart of James Connolly, when the empire and capitalism had left this city destitute and, frankly, in poverty unimaginable to us today. Connolly saw the desperate plight that capitalism and its minions inflicted on Belfast City, where it perpetrated the ugliest of sectarianism in order to protect the power and the wealth of the capitalist ruling class. Connolly had saw all that, Connolly knew all of that, but Connolly knew the need to rise above it. He also knew that it was incumbent upon him and necessary upon us all to have the patience to organise. We have to have the patience to organise piece by piece, just as it is necessary to bring about the organisation of the working class for its own liberation and its own emancipation. Nobody gives the working class freedom. The working class takes freedom itself, or it will not be free. Because of that, he was patient. Connolly was the first person to talk about the bizarre nature of the Physical Force Party. The party that had nothing else in common socially, politically or economically apart from the bizarre notion that Ireland could be cured and Ireland's ills would be cured by a resort to physical force alone. Connolly was not afraid to say that. Connolly was not reluctant or inhibited about pointing out the weakness and the fallacy in that. But Connolly, the great James Connolly, was also willing, when the time came and when the opportunity arose and when it was necessary, not to hide behind the spurious rhetoric of some on the left. Those on the left who opposed, for example, who opposed Lenin, and Lenin alone, the great Vladimir Lenin, recognised in Connolly the greatness of him when he said to Connolly after Connolly's death that there is no perfect social revolution. Connolly did not hide behind some obscure text. When the opportunity arose, he knew what had to be done. He stepped forward to do it, and he was willing to put his life on the line and pay the price. And that ultimately is the perfection of the socialist revolutionary. Patience when it's necessary, organise when it's necessary, because it always is necessary, and when the time comes, if the time comes, and when you're faced with an enemy like capitalism, unfortunately and tragically, comrades, we'll have to say that it will probably come. Capitalism does not walk away easily. There may always come the time when you are going to have to face the awful prospect of what may be in store by a very, very vicious enemy. Connolly was willing to take whatever step was necessary when it was necessary. We are now looking at the 92nd anniversary. Standing in this hallowed spot, there is an enormous task in front of us. Bertie Ahern may well say Ireland is at peace. And thankfully, we're not seeing blood spilled on every street. But we have a peace that is not giving peace to all on this island. It is not giving peace to the working people. We have neoliberalism reinforced in the 6 counties. We are moving to the right in the 6 counties. We are seeing privatisation coming day by day. There is no peace where there is poverty. We are watching the economic downturn in the Republic. There is no peace here where there is poverty. And there is poverty, there is deprivation, and because of the nature of this society, the divisions between the rich and the poor will be growing ever greater. That is the peace that Bertie Ahern has delivered, the peace of common poverty to so many, and that is peace that we'll not accept or deem as peace. We've got to organise at the point of production. I would ask you to consider that as one of your priorities, as James Connolly did. Organise on the workshops, organise where you meet the capitalist oppressor, because we need that organisation. It is not enough to look at that organisation just as a token, just as a formality. We have currently at the moment on this island a trade union movement that is embedded in a corporatist state. A corporatist state is simply a polite word for what used to be known as a fascist state, where we have today, debatably whether there's a republic in the 26 counties, it looks much more like an oligarchy ruled by the wealthy. Call it what you like, but in practice this society is ruled by the ultra-rich. We have an oligarchy on this island. That must be combated, that will be combated. We must organise to combat that, to turn that around, to return that, to break it, and to bring about the socialist republic for which James Connolly and so many others lived and eventually died. And when we end this oppressive state, when we throw back the wealthy and overturn their power, when we create a society of socialist equality where there is a commune fit for people to live in, don't forget that James Connolly will be still with us. He'll walk among us because he'll always be with us. It's from Connolly we take so much of the inspiration to move forward and build that society that humanity demands, that humanity must have. So Gora Mila Mai Aga Parish.